The first thing Belle Harper noticed was not her husband's thumb tracing slow circles on the model's wrist. It was not the champagne flutes catching amber light like small malicious stars. It was the sommelier's face. The way his professional smile collapsed when he saw her standing in the doorway of Alizé, 6 months pregnant, snowflakes melting in her dark hair like tiny acts of mercy she did not deserve. Through the floor-to-ceiling windows, Boston Harbor stretched black and infinite. Inside, the restaurant hummed with the quiet wealth of people who never checked prices. Crystal chandeliers threw light across white tablecloths. A pianist in the corner played something French and forgettable. And there at the bar, Dominic Harper wore the charcoal suit she had picked out for their anniversary last year, the one that made his shoulders look like architecture. Next to him sat a woman whose hair fell like liquid gold over one bare shoulder. Sienna Blake. Belle recognized her from the Vogue cover at the salon, from the watch advertisement that played before movies, from the billboard on Storrow Drive that Dominic claimed not to notice. Dominic's hand rested on the small of Sienna's back, not hovering, resting. The way married hands rest on familiar territory. They leaned toward each other, a brief meeting of mouths, 3 seconds, maybe 4. Not the kiss of strangers testing waters, the kiss of people who had done this before. A phone camera flashed, then another. The sommelier inhaled sharply. His eyes found Belle's. In them, she saw pity dressed as discretion. Belle's baby kicked, one hard thump against her ribs. A telegram from the future. "Get out," the kick said. "Get out now," Belle turned. She did not run. Running would have been dramatic, and this moment required the opposite of drama. This moment required the surgical precision of a woman who understood that some betrayals are too large for public theaters. She walked into February. Snow fell in thick silence. Each flake hit her face like a small, cold truth. Her car was 3 blocks away. She walked without feeling her legs. The emerald maternity dress she had spent an hour choosing felt suddenly obscene. She had curled her hair, applied lipstick in a shade called Resilient Rose. Practiced saying thank you for remembering, because Dominic had written the reservation note himself. Date night, the note said. Just us. Just us. The lie sat in her mouth like something rotten. Belle did not drive home. Home was a place where lies lived in the walls, where Dominic's mother Victoria probably waited with her winter white coat and her surgical smile and her ability to make concern sound like threat. Belle drove to the office, to Adapt Life Foundation, the nonprofit where she managed operations for stroke survivors who needed equipment their insurance called optional. The building sat dark and empty on a Friday night. She used her key, climbed 3 flights of stairs because the elevator felt too slow for the speed her thoughts were moving. Her office smelled like lavender and old coffee. She had a couch against the back wall for nights she worked late, a shelf of books about resilience and recovery, a framed photo of Dominic on her desk, smiling at something off camera. She turned the photo face down, then she saw it, a FedEx package on her desk, overnight delivery, no return address. Belle's hands shook as she opened it. Inside, a USB drive in a small plastic case, a handwritten note on cream stationery. Mrs. Harper, the note read, "You deserve to know the truth. This started 8 months ago. It is not what you think. A friend." Belle stared at the note for a long time. The handwriting was feminine, careful, the kind of handwriting that came from private school and thank you cards and mothers who corrected posture. She plugged the USB into her laptop. The screen filled with the folders, each labeled with a month, June through February. She clicked June. Photos loaded, dozens of them. June 14th. Dominic at the Museum of Fine Arts Gala. Sienna Blake beside him in a silver dress that probably cost more than Belle's monthly salary. They stood close. Not touching, but close. July 3rd. Thinking Cup Coffee Shop in the North End. Dominic and Sienna at a corner table. 2 cappuccinos. Sienna laughing at something. Dominic's face relaxed in a way Belle had not seen in months. August 20th. Boston Common. Sienna and Dominic walking the path near Frog Pond, her hand on his arm, not holding, just resting. The way married hands rest. October 9th. A Beacon Hill street. Sienna entering a brick apartment building. Timestamp 8:47 p.m. Another photo. Sienna leaving the same building. Timestamp 2:13 a.m. November 16th. Another Beacon Hill photo. Same building. Sienna arriving 9:15 p.m. Leaving 1:04 a.m. January 10th. An email screenshot. Alizé reservation confirmation. Party of 2. Name Harper. Special requests. Corner table. Champagne on arrival. Privacy preferred. Belle clicked on the second folder. Financial documents. A bank statement from an account she did not recognize. The account holder was listed as VS Consulting. A wire transfer dated May 19th. Amount $400,000. Recipient S. Blake. Memo line, Strategic Partnership Agreement. Belle's vision blurred. She blinked. Read it again. $400,000. This was not an affair. This was a transaction. Her phone buzzed. Dominic's name lit the screen. She declined the call. It buzzed again, again, again. She opened her email, sent the USB contents to her cloud storage. Then to Morgan Whitmore, her friend who practiced criminal law with the intensity of someone who had been wronged once and would never allow it again. The subject line Belle typed, "I need you." The message, "Everything is attached. I will call tomorrow. I am safe. Do not tell him where I am." She pressed send, then Belle opened the bottom drawer of her desk. Inside, a bag she had packed 18 months ago. After James, after the hospital had sent her home with empty arms and a pamphlet about grief that said things like healing takes time and you are not alone, when she was in fact entirely alone because Dominic had attended one counseling session and said, "I cannot do this." The bag contained prenatal vitamins, $3,000 in cash, a phone charger, a change of clothes, the 4D ultrasound photo from 3 weeks ago, Emma's face in grainy black and white, eyes closed, thumb near mouth. Belle took the bag, turned off her computer, walked back to her car. Snow fell harder now. The city lights made the flakes look orange and strange. She drove to Beacon Hill, to the brownstone she and Dominic had bought 3 years ago, with money from his signing bonus at Vertex Therapeutics. A house with good bones and tall windows, and a third floor that was supposed to become a nursery. Victoria's Mercedes sat in front, midnight black with vanity plates, ASHFORD1, Victoria's maiden name. The name she still used professionally because Harper was what she became when she married. And marriage, Victoria once said, was a strategic alliance, not an identity. Belle parked across the street, turned off her engine, watched the lit windows of her own home. 2 silhouettes moved behind the curtains. Dominic, Victoria. Belle rolled down her window. Cold air rushed in. She could hear voices, not words, just the rhythm of argument. Victoria's cadence was unmistakable, sharp, controlled, the verbal equivalent of a scalpel. Then Dominic's voice rose, louder, still controlled but strained, a crack in the architecture. Belle heard 3 words clearly through the winter air. "Told you discreet." Then Victoria's response, clear as glass breaking. "Nothing is private when I need it public." Belle's heart stopped. When I need it public. Victoria knew. Victoria had arranged this. This was not Dominic's affair. This was Victoria's strategy. Belle's phone buzzed again. Dominic. She let it ring. She put the car in drive, did not go inside. Did not leave the wedding ring on the doorstep the way she had imagined. That would have been theatrical. This required silence. From the glove compartment, she took an envelope. Inside, a letter she had written 3 weeks ago after Dominic missed the anatomy scan. She had written it as a practice drill, a document of what she would say if it came to this. She had not believed it would. Now she pulled it out. Read it once. Added 3 sentences at the bottom. Then she drove back. Stopped the car, slid the envelope under the front door, left her key beside it, drove away. The last ferry to Provincetown departed from Long Wharf at 11:30. Belle bought a ticket with cash. The terminal was empty except for a maintenance worker, mopping floors, and a woman in a weatherproof jacket, knitting something yellow. The woman looked up as Belle approached. Her hair was silver, braided in a practical crown. Her eyes were the kind that had seen too much to be surprised by anything. "Running from or running to?" the woman asked. Belle stopped. "Both," the woman nodded. "Good answer. Most people only do one." The ferry horn sounded, low and mournful, the kind of sound that understood departures. Belle boarded, found a seat inside the cabin because the deck was too cold, and she was responsible now for keeping someone else warm. The woman with the knitting sat across from her, said nothing for 20 minutes, then held up her work, a baby blanket, soft yellow cotton with white ducks embroidered along the border. "Made it for my daughter," the woman said. "She died before the baby was born. Car accident, drunk driver, happened fast." Belle's throat tightened. "I am sorry." "Me too." The woman folded the blanket, held it out. "Keep it. Your girl needs something made with love that has nowhere else to go." Belle took the blanket, her vision blurred with tears. I do not know you. Claire Donovan, I live in Provincetown. Run a bookstore when I feel like it. Spend my time knitting things I will never use. Claire's smile was sad but real. You look like someone who just learned the difference between leaving and running. What is the difference? Leaving is deliberate. Running is survival. Both are valid. The ferry engines hummed beneath them. Boston's lights grew smaller, distant, a city that no longer felt like home. Belle's phone buzzed constantly. She turned it face down, did not look. Claire pulled out a thermos, poured something that smelled like chamomile and honey, handed Belle a cup without asking. My grandmother lived in Provincetown, Belle said. Left me her cottage. I have not been there since she died. What is the address? 12 Pearl Street. Claire smiled. I know it. Blue shutters, wild roses. Your grandmother was Louise Mitchell. She bought books from me every Thursday. Always historical fiction. Never romance. Said romance lied about how love worked. Belle laughed. It came out broken. She was right. Maybe, maybe not. Love works different for everyone. Sometimes it is the leaving that saves it. The ferry docked at 1 in the morning. Provincetown in February was a ghost town. Tourist shops shuttered, streets empty. Only the lighthouse beams swept across the harbor in steady, patient circles. Claire walked Belle to Pearl Street, did not ask questions, did not offer more wisdom, just walked beside her like a witness. The cottage sat small and weathered at the end of a shell path, paint peeling, shutters crooked. But the windows were intact and the roof looked solid, and the wild roses, dormant now, promised spring if Belle stayed long enough to see it. The key was under the conch shell on the front step, exactly where Louise always kept it. Belle unlocked the door. The smell hit first. Lavender and old books and the ghost of her grandmother's perfume. The furniture was covered in sheets. Dust hung in the air like suspended memory. Claire stood in the doorway. You need anything? I am at 14 Pearl, the gray house with the blue door. I will be awake. Insomnia and grief keep the same hours. Thank you. Do not thank me yet. You have not survived tomorrow. Claire left. Belle locked the door, pulled the sheets off the couch, found blankets in this hallway closet that smelled like cedar. In summers, she did not remember being this hard. She lay down, put her hand on her belly, felt Emma move. A slow roll, a reassurance. We made it, Belle whispered. We are safe. Her phone buzzed one more time. She looked. 47 missed calls, 19 voicemails, 63 texts. She opened none of them, put the phone on airplane mode, closed her eyes. Outside, the ocean breathed. In, out, in, out. The oldest rhythm. The one that predated heartbreak and betrayal and mothers-in-law who moved humans like chess pieces. Belle slept. In Boston, Dominic Harper found the envelope at 12:43 in the morning. He had just finished arguing with his mother. Victoria had left 20 minutes ago in her Mercedes, her parting words still ringing. Fix this quietly or I will fix it loudly. Dominic poured scotch, drank it standing at the kitchen counter, poured another. Then he saw the envelope on the floor by the door, his name in Belle's careful handwriting. He opened it with shaking hands. Dominic, I saw you tonight at Alizé. There were cameras. You kissed her like you once kissed me, like the world could wait. I found the photos. 8 months of photos. I found the $400,000 to VS Consulting. I am not naive enough to think this is just romance. I am not going to scream. I am not going to throw your scotch collection through the window. I am not going to call your board of directors. I am going to do what I should have done 18 months ago when you could not sit through one grief counseling session for James. I am going to protect our daughter from becoming collateral damage in whatever game you and your mother are playing. I am leaving. Emma and I are safe. Do not look for us. When you are ready to be honest, actually honest, not manage the narrative honest, you can call Morgan. She will tell you if I am ready to hear it. One last thing, the sommelier recognized me. Tomorrow the photos will be everywhere. You will have a choice. Lie about the pregnant wife who left or tell the truth about why she had to. Choose better than you have been. Isabel Dominic read the letter 3 times. On the 4th time, the word James broke him. He sat on the kitchen floor, still holding the envelope. His hands shook in a way the boardroom never permitted. The memory came sharp and unwanted. The hospital room. Belle in the bed, small and broken. The doctor saying words like cord accident and nothing we could do, and these things happen. Belle's face empty. A house with all the lights off. Dominic had held her for an hour, then left to make phone calls. To handle logistics, to arrange the cremation because Bell could not speak and someone had to handle details. He had attended one counseling session, sat in a chair across from a therapist who asked how he felt, and Dominic said, "I do not know." And the therapist said, "That is okay." But it was not okay because Bell needed him to know, needed him to cry with her, needed him to not treat their son's death like a problem to be solved. Dominic had gone back to work, buried himself in Vertex, in drug trials and investor meetings and FDA approval timelines. Bell had gone to counseling alone. For 6 months, he knew because he saw the insurance statements. They never talked about James after that. And now this, Sienna, the photos, $400,000. Dominic did not remember deciding to pay Sienna, did not remember VS Consulting, did not remember anything except his mother saying she is good for optics and investors like dynamic leaders. And Bell makes you look settled. He pulled out his phone, called Sienna. She answered on the first ring. "Dominic, what the fuck was tonight?" Silence. Then, "Your mother said you knew. She said you wanted this." "Knew what? I thought we were just having dinner. I thought you and I were just..." "Just what?" Sienna's voice cracked. "Your mother paid me. She has been paying me since May. The arrangement, the photos, everything." Dominic's vision tunneled. What arrangement? The $400,000, the contract, strategic partnership agreement, to make you look interesting, available, dynamic. Sienna was crying now. "You did not know?" "No. Oh God, Dominic, I am so sorry. I thought you were in on it." So she said Bell knew. She said it was all approved. She said, Dominic hung up, threw his phone across the kitchen. It hit the wall, did not break, slid down to the floor. He stood, walked upstairs, to the third floor, to the room they had been painting. Cloud white walls, half finished. Bell had chosen the color, held up paint chips in the light, said things like, "This one feels hopeful." A crib sat assembled in the corner. Dominic had put it together 3 weeks ago, the first hands-on task in months. Bell had watched him struggle with the instructions, laughed when he put a panel on backward, said, "You are going to be a great dad." A tiny onesie lay folded on the changing table. White cotton with embroidered text, "Daddy's girl." Dominic picked it up, held it against his chest. Then he sat on the floor and cried the way he should have cried 18 months ago. Somewhere a phone rang, his or Bell's, or some ghost frequency. He did not answer. At 3 in the morning, Morgan Whitmore's doorbell rang. She answered in pajamas and fury. Dominic stood on her doorstep, eyes red, suit wrinkled. "Where is she?" Morgan crossed her arms. "Safe." Morgan, I did not know about the money, the arrangement, any of it. Morgan studied him. She had known Dominic for 7 years, had watched him marry Bell, had watched him become the kind of man who answered emails during toasts. But she had also watched him assemble a crib at midnight because Bell mentioned wanting it done. "I believe you," Morgan said. "Does not matter. It has to matter. You still chose Sienna over prenatal appointments. You still missed the anatomy scan. You still made Bell feel like furniture." Dominic flinched. "I know. Do you? Because your mother destroyed my career once, 10 years ago. I was a public defender. She was lead counsel for a Vertex investor who killed someone drunk driving. She wanted me to lose deliberately. I refused. She buried me in ethics complaints. Took 3 years to clear my name." Dominic stared. "I did not know." "You did not know a lot of things. That is the problem. You do not pay attention unless it is attached to a stock price." "Morgan, please, I need to see her." "She needs space. When she is ready, she will call. Until then, you live with this." Morgan started to close the door. Dominic put his hand against it. "Is she really safe?" Morgan's face softened slightly. "Yes, she is safe. The baby is fine. That is all you get." She closed the door. Dominic stood on the porch for a long time, then walked back to his car, drove home, sat in the driveway staring at the house that felt like a crime scene. His phone buzzed. An email from Vertex's head of communications. Subject, urgent, media inquiry. He opened it. Boston Globe requesting comment on photos of you with Sienna Blake. Page 6 posted article 1 hour ago. Twitter trending. Board requesting emergency meeting 9 a.m. Attached was a link. Dominic clicked it. The headline read, Vertex CEO's Valentine's surprise, but wrong woman. Below it, a photo, him and Sienna at Alizé. The kiss, clear, unmistakable. The article was brief, factual, cruel. Dominic Harper, CEO of Vertex Therapeutics, was spotted last night at Alizé with supermodel Sienna Blake. Sources confirm Harper is married to Isabel Mitchell Harper, currently 6 months pregnant. Representatives for Vertex declined comment. Mrs. Harper could not be reached. The comments section was already filled. Hundreds of them. Where is his pregnant wife? Men are trash. She should leave him. Hope she takes half. Dominic closed his laptop. The sun was coming up. Friday became Saturday. The longest night of his life became the first morning of whatever came next. He went back upstairs. To the nursery, sat on the floor holding the onesie. His phone buzzed again. His mother. Come to my office. 9 a.m. We need to fix this. Dominic stared at the message, then typed back. There is nothing to fix. I am finding my wife. Victoria's response came instantly. Too late. Already filed. A document loaded. Legal letterhead. Commonwealth of Massachusetts Probate and Family Court. Petition for emergency grandparent visitation rights and protective custody. Filed by West Victoria Ashford Harper. Respondent Isabel Mitchell Harper. Grounds: mother abandoned marital home while pregnant. High-risk pregnancy without medical supervision. Unstable mental state evidenced by sudden departure. Grandparent seeks temporary custody pending psychiatric evaluation. Hearing scheduled. March 15th, 30 days. Dominic called his mother. She answered on the first ring. You would not. His voice shook. I already did. Tell Belle she can come home or she can lose Emma before she is born. Her choice. Victoria hung up. Dominic sat in the nursery as sunlight filled the room. The cloud-white walls glowed. The crib waited. The onesie lay in his lap. Outside, Boston woke up. Cars started. Coffee brewed. People checked their phones and saw his face trending. Inside, Dominic Harper understood for the first time what it meant to lose everything that mattered while still having everything he thought he wanted. He picked up his phone. Texted Morgan. Tell Belle my mother filed for custody. Emergency hearing in 30 days. Tell her I am sorry. Tell her I will fix this. Tell her I will choose better. Morgan's response came 5 minutes later. I will tell her, but Dominic, choosing better is a verb, not a promise. Show up or shut up. Dominic stood, looked around the nursery one more time. Then he walked downstairs, out the door, got in his car. He drove to Vertex headquarters. At 6 in the morning, the building stood empty. He used his key card, rode the elevator to the executive floor. In his office, he drafted an email to the board. Effective immediately, I am stepping back from daily operations. Personal circumstances require my full attention. I will remain on the board in an advisory capacity. Appoint an interim CEO by Monday. He pressed send. Then he opened his contacts. Found his therapist. Dr. Marcus Reeves left a voicemail. I need emergency sessions, as many as you can give me. I have been a coward. I need to learn how to be a man my daughter can respect. Call me. He hung up. Outside his office window, the sun climbed higher. The harbor sparkled. Boats moved in and out. The city breathed. Dominic did not know where Belle was. Did not know if she would ever speak to him again. Did not know if he deserved a second chance or a 10th or any. But he knew this. He would not let his mother control one more minute of his life. He would not lose Emma the way he lost James. He would not become the man his father was. Absent, disconnected, a ghost in a suit. Somewhere in Provincetown, Belle slept, dreamed, held their daughter in a body that was the only safe place left. Dominic would find her, not to take her home, not to demand forgiveness, but to say the words he should have said 18 months ago when grief made him a coward and fear made him cruel. I am here. I am sorry. I will do better. Whether she believed him would be up to her. Whether he meant it would be up to him. The morning grew brighter. The phone on his desk rang. The board, the press, the world demanding answers. Dominic let it ring. Some things mattered more than damage control. Some things required silence before they could become sound. He sat at his desk, pulled out a notebook, started writing a letter. Not the corporate kind, not the kind his mother would approve. The kind that told the truth even when truth was ugly. Dear Belle, he wrote, then stopped. Started again. Dear Isabel, I do not expect you to read this. I do not expect forgiveness. I expect nothing because I have earned nothing. But I need you to know, I see it now. All of it, every missed appointment, every time I chose a meeting over your hand, every time I treated our marriage like a background app running quietly, while I focused on what I called important. You were important. You are important. Emma is everything. I failed you. I failed James. I let my mother turn our lives into a strategy. I am stepping down from Vertex, not as a gesture, as a choice, the first real choice I have made in years. I am finding a therapist, learning how to feel things instead of managing them. I am fighting my mother, in court, in life, in every way that matters. But most importantly, I am learning how to be the man you thought you married, the one who vowed to show up, to be still, to make you believe in soft landings. I do not know if you will ever let me back in. I do not know if I deserve it. But I will spend the rest of my life trying to become someone who does. Not for you, for Emma, and for the part of me that died when I walked away from James's grief instead of sitting in it with you. I am sorry. I am so sorry. And I am here. Finally, completely. Here. Dominic? He folded the letter, put it in an envelope, wrote Belle's name, did not know where to send it. So he put it in his pocket. A promise carried close to the heart that had failed her. Outside, Boston moved forward. Inside, Dominic Harper stayed very still, learning for the first time in his adult life what it meant to wait, to be patient, to let someone else choose the speed of healing. The sun climbed higher, the day began. And in Provincetown, Belle woke to seagulls and salt air and the unfamiliar sound of silence that belonged entirely to her. Belle woke to a sound she had forgotten existed. Silence. Not the silence of empty rooms waiting to be filled. Not the silence of held breath or unsaid words. The silence of a place that did not know her name, did not know her mistakes, did not care about the wreckage she had driven through to get here. Morning light filtered through curtains her grandmother had hung 20 years ago. Faded yellow cotton with embroidered starfish. The kind of curtains that said summer even in February. Belle sat up slowly. Her back ached. The couch was not designed for pregnant women or comfort, but it was hers. This discomfort belonged to no one but her. Emma moved, a slow roll beneath ribs. Belle put both hands on her belly, felt the shape of a foot, a knee, a human forming in the only safe place left. "Good morning," Belle whispered. "Welcome to Provincetown." The cottage was cold. Belle found the thermostat and turned it up. Nothing happened. She checked the basement. The furnace was old, older than her marriage, possibly older than her grandmother's marriage. It made sounds like dying mechanical animals, but produced no heat. Belle wrapped herself in the yellow blanket Claire had given her, put on her coat, walked to the kitchen. The refrigerator held nothing except a bottle of Poland spring water and a container of baking soda that had probably been there since the 90s. The cabinets contained dishes and dust and one can of Campbell's tomato soup with an expiration date from 2012. Belle laughed. It came out sharp and slightly unhinged. She was 32 years old, 6 months pregnant, hiding in a cottage with no heat and expired soup. Her husband was probably fielding calls from reporters. Her mother-in-law was probably planning legal strategies. And Belle was standing in a kitchen that smelled like mildew and old memories, laughing at soup from the Obama administration. She stopped laughing, sat down at the small table, put her head in her hands. The tears came quietly, not the dramatic sobbing of movie heroines, just tears that leaked out like pressure from a valve that had been closed too long. She cried for 5 minutes, then stopped, wiped her face with her sleeve. Crying was permitted, drowning was not. Belle found her phone, turned off airplane mode, watched it explode with notifications. 83 missed calls, 47 text messages, 12 voicemails. She deleted them all without reading, except one. "Morgan Whitmore, call me when you are ready. I have information. You are safe. That is all that matters." Belle called. Morgan answered on the first ring. "Where are you?" "Safe, like you said." "Provincetown?" Belle paused. "How did you know?" "Your grandmother's cottage is in your trust documents. I helped set up the trust, remember? After Louise died." "Right." "Belle, Dominic showed up at my door at 3 in the morning." Belle's hand tightened on the phone. "What did you tell him?" "That you are safe, that he needs to wait. That I believe he did not know about the money, but that does not absolve him of being an absent husband." "Did he seem broken?" "Yes." "Genuine?" "Also yes." But Belle, broken men say a lot of things at 3 in the morning. What matters is what they do at 3 in the afternoon when the cameras are watching. Belle closed her eyes. "I got the USB, 8 months of photos, $400,000 to someone called VS Consulting. I know, I have been tracking it. VS Consulting is a shell company registered to Victoria's maiden name, Ashford. The money went to Sienna Blake. It was labeled Strategic Partnership Agreement. Victoria paid her." "Yes." "To do what exactly?" Morgan was quiet for a moment. "To make Dominic look interesting. Available. Dynamic. Pre-FDA announcement. Vertex stock was stagnant. Investors like risk, like energy. A boring married CEO does not move markets. A CEO who looks like he might leave his pregnant wife for a supermodel, that gets attention. Belle felt sick. She bought optics. She bought a narrative. Sienna was the actress. Dominic was the product. You were the obstacle. Jesus Christ. And there is more. I pulled Victoria's firm records. 10 years ago, she tried to destroy my career. I was a public defender. She represented a Vertex investor who killed someone drunk driving. She wanted me to throw the case. I refused. She filed ethics complaints, got me suspended for 18 months. Morgan, I did not know. No one did. I rebuilt quietly. But Belle, I am telling you this because you need to understand who you are fighting. Victoria Ashford Harper does not lose. She rewrites the rules until losing is impossible. Belle stared at the peeling wallpaper in the kitchen. Yellow flowers that used to be white. What do I do? You let me handle the legal side. You take care of yourself and Emma. And Belle, do not answer Dominic's calls yet. Make him wait. Make him prove this is not just panic management. They hung up. Belle sat at the table for a long time. Then she stood, put on boots, walked outside. Provincetown in February was a study in abandonment. Shops shuttered, restaurants closed until April. Streets empty except for seagulls and wind. Belle walked Commercial Street until she found a corner store still open. Bought eggs, bread, milk, instant coffee. The clerk was a woman in her 60s with a face like carved driftwood. You are new, the woman said, temporarily. Everyone says that, then they stay. The woman bagged groceries. Louise Mitchell's granddaughter? Belle stopped. You knew my grandmother? Everyone knew Louise. She ran the Historical Society, argued with the zoning board, made the best cranberry bread on the Cape. The woman smiled. I am Dorothy. I live above the store. You need anything? You knock. Thank you. Louise would be glad you came back. She always said this place heals people who let it. Belle walked back to Pearl Street carrying groceries and grief and the strange sensation of being known by people who had never met her. At the cottage, she made scrambled eggs, ate them standing at the counter. They tasted like survival. Her phone rang. Unknown number. She answered without thinking. Mrs. Harper? A woman's voice. Young, nervous. Who is this? Sienna Blake, please do not hang up. Belle should have hung up. Instead, she stood very still. What do you want? To say I am sorry and to tell you the truth. I know the truth. You were paid $400,000 to seduce my husband. Yes, but you do not know why. Belle sat down. Tell me. Sienna's voice cracked. My sister Natalie has cystic fibrosis. She needs a double lung transplant. Our insurance denied it. Experimental, not covered. Cost is $450,000. Belle closed her eyes. I was modeling but not making enough. I was desperate. Victoria Ashford Harper approached me after a shoot last May. She knew about Natalie. She knew I was drowning. She offered me a contract. Brand enhancement services, she called it. 12 public appearances with Dominic. Make it look authentic. Make him look desirable. Did Dominic know? I thought he did. Victoria said he approved everything, said you knew, said it was all arranged. She told me Vertex needed good optics before FDA announcement, that I was helping, that everyone wins. But Dominic did not know. No, I realized that last night when he called me. He sounded destroyed. He said, what the fuck was tonight? I told him your mother paid me. He did not know about the contract, the money, any of it. Belle felt something shift. Not forgiveness, but a reframing. Dominic was not the villain. He was another piece on Victoria's board. Why are you telling me this? Belle asked. Because I have been carrying this for 8 months and I cannot anymore. Because my sister is 21 and she said if I have to become someone I hate to save her, she would rather die. I am sorry about your sister. I am sorry about your marriage. Mrs. Harper, I have proof, everything, text from Victoria, the contract, wire transfers. I want to give them to you. Why? Because Victoria Ashford Harper told me no one would believe me if I talked. She said I am just a model. You are a wife. She said she would bury me, but I do not care anymore. I would rather be buried than be her accomplice. Belle's throat tightened. Send everything to my lawyer, Morgan Whitmore. She is with Whitmore Defense. Boston. I will, today. Sienna. Yes? Your sister, is she getting the transplant? Yes, they found a donor match. Surgery is scheduled for March. Good, I hope she survives, and I hope you can forgive yourself. This is not your fault. Sienna was crying now, full, wrecking sobs. It feels like my fault. I know, but feelings lie sometimes. Victoria is the one who weaponized your love for your sister. That makes her the monster. They hung up. Belle sat at the kitchen table until the sun moved across the floor and her coffee went cold. 3 days later, a FedEx box arrived at Morgan's office. Morgan called Belle immediately. Sienna's package is here. It is extensive. Contracts, emails, text messages, bank statements, photographs with metadata timestamps. What does it prove? Everything. Victoria orchestrated the entire thing, down to which restaurants, which photographers, which angles. She has a PR firm she uses, Ashford Image Consulting. Run by her college roommate, they specialize in reputation rehabilitation. Morgan was quiet for a moment. Belle, there is something else. Victoria filed a petition. Belle's stomach dropped. For what? Emergency grandparent visitation rights and protective custody. What does that mean? It means she is claiming you abandoned your home while pregnant, that you are mentally unstable, that Emma is at risk. She wants temporary custody pending a psychiatric evaluation of you. Belle stood up too fast. Black spots bloomed in her vision. She sat back down. She cannot do that. She already did. Hearing is March 15th, 30 days from now. Can she win? Not with Sienna's evidence, but Belle, we have to show up. We have to fight, and it is going to be ugly. Belle pressed her hand to her belly. Emma kicked, strong, insistent. Tell me what to do. Come to Boston 2 days before the hearing. We will prep. I will get Dr. Cross to write a statement about your prenatal care. We will get character witnesses. We will bury Victoria in her own manipulations. Morgan? Yes? Thank you for believing me, for fighting. You are my friend, and Victoria Ashford Harper destroyed me once. I have been waiting 10 years to return the favor. In Boston, Dominic Harper sat in Dr. Marcus Reeves' office for the third time that week. The office was nothing like he expected. No leather couch, no framed degrees screaming credibility. Just 2 chairs, a bookshelf, a window overlooking a playground where children screamed with joy about ordinary things. Dr. Reeves was 50, black, patient in the way trees are patient. He did not take notes during sessions, just listened with the kind of attention that made lying impossible. Tell me about the anatomy scan, Dr. Reeves said. Dominic looked at his hands. I missed it. Why? Investor call. It was important. More important than seeing your daughter? I thought Belle had it covered. She is good at that stuff. What stuff? Emotional things, feelings, appointments. I am better with numbers. Dr. Reeves leaned back. Dominic, your wife is not your emotional assistant. The words hit like a fist. Dominic flinched. Say that again. Your wife is not your emotional assistant. She is not infrastructure. She is not someone whose job is to handle the soft parts of life so you can focus on the hard parts. She is your partner, which means equal, which means you show up for the appointments that matter to her, whether or not they matter to you. Dominic felt something crack open in his chest. I thought I was being efficient, dividing labor. She handles home, I handle work. Did she agree to that division? We never discussed it. Right. You decided her job was to manage your life, your calendar, your guilt, your grief. And when James died, you could not handle it, so you went back to work and left her to process alone. Dominic's eyes burned. I did not know how to help her. Did you ask? No. Did you show up anyway? No. Dr. Reeves stood, walked to the window. I'm going to tell you something, and I need you to hear it. Your mother trained you to see relationships as transactions. Love as leverage. Connection as weakness. That is not your fault, but it is your responsibility to unlearn it. How? By doing the opposite of what feels natural. When you want to fix something, sit in it instead. When you want to manage a crisis, be present in the pain. When you want to earn forgiveness, just show up without expecting anything in return. Dominic wiped his eyes. Belle will not even talk to me. Good, let her set the pace. Your job is not to win her back. Your job is to become someone worth coming back to. After the session, Dominic drove to Vertex. The interim CEO had been appointed. A woman named Catherine Chen who ran an operations like a symphony. The company was fine without him. Better, even. He cleaned out his office, took the photo of Belle, left everything else. In the parking garage, his phone rang, his mother. He declined the call. She texted immediately. We need to discuss strategy for the hearing. Dominic typed back, there is no we. Drop the petition or I go public with everything Sienna gave Morgan. Victoria's response was instant. You would not humiliate your own mother. Dominic stared at the message, then called her. She answered smugly. I knew you would see reason. Drop the petition. Absolutely not. That child needs stability. The child needs protection from you. Victoria laughed, cold, sharp. I am trying to protect her from a mother who ran away in the middle of the night, who is living in a cottage with no heat, working at a bookstore while 6 months pregnant. Belle is unstable. The court will see that. The court will see you paid Sienna Blake $400,000 to destroy my marriage. They will see the contract, the texts, the orchestrated photo opportunities. They will see you for what you are. Silence. Then Victoria's voice went quiet. Dangerous. You are making a mistake. No, I'm cleaning up yours. If you testify against me, I will disinherit you. Remove you from the Ashford Trust. You will have nothing. I have enough. You will regret this. I regret not doing it sooner. Dominic hung up, blocked her number, drove to his lawyer's office. By evening, he had filed a counter-petition, requesting restraining order against Victoria, requesting she have no contact with Belle or Emma without written consent from both parents. His lawyer, a woman named Patricia Okafor, read the documents with raised eyebrows. This will destroy your relationship with your mother. Good. You are sure? She destroyed my marriage. My wife fled the state. My mother filed for custody of a baby that is not born yet. Yes, I am sure. Patricia nodded. Then let us bury her. Still, the box from Sienna arrived at Belle's cottage 4 days later. Morgan had forwarded it with a note. Read this when you are ready. It is worse than we thought, and better, because now we have everything. Belle waited until evening, made tea, sat at the kitchen table, opened the box. Inside, a USB drive, printed documents, handwritten notes. She started with the contract. Strategic Partnership Agreement between VS Consulting, LLC, and Sienna M. Blake. Terms. Contractor will engage in minimum 12 public appearances with designated individual, hereinafter referred to as subject. Appearances must create impression of romantic interest. Contractor will dress appropriately, laugh authentically, maintain physical proximity consistent with courtship behaviors. Compensation. $100,000 upon signing, $50,000 per month for 8 months, $200,000 upon successful completion. Definition of successful completion: minimum 3 photographs published in media outlets, minimum 1 instance of physical affection captured on camera. Subject's public profile elevated measurably as determined by VS Consulting. Termination clause: early termination results in full repayment of compensation plus penalty of $100,000 and legal action for breach of contract. Belle read it twice, then read the emails. From Victoria to Sienna, May 12th. He is having lunch at Mistress tomorrow. Be there, wear something memorable, laugh at his jokes even if they are not funny. My son is brilliant but socially awkward. Make him feel interesting. From Victoria to Ashford, Image Consulting, June 2nd. First photos published. Good work. Continue subtle escalation. Nothing that screams affair, everything that suggests availability. From Victoria to Sienna, July 15th. You are doing well, but I need more chemistry. Touch his arm when you talk. Lean in. Make it look effortless. Investors notice body language. From Victoria to Sienna, January 14th. Final appearance Friday. Alizé, 7 p.m. Make it memorable. Brief physical contact acceptable. This ends the contract. Final payment will transfer Monday. Belle's hands shook. The text messages were worse. Victoria to Sienna, October 3rd. Is he sleeping with you? Sienna, no. Contract does not require that. Victoria, But has he tried? Sienna, he kissed me once, August. After too much wine, I stopped it. Victoria, why? Sienna, because I am not actually interested in married men. Victoria, you are interested in $400,000. Do not develop a conscience now. Belle closed the laptop, walked to the bathroom, threw up, sat on the cold tile floor for 20 minutes. Emma kicked. Belle put her hand on her belly. Your grandmother is a monster, she whispered, but you will never have to meet her. I promise. She stood, washed her face, looked at herself in the mirror. Her face was thinner, eyes shadowed, but something else had changed. Something in the set of her jaw, the line of her shoulders. She looked like someone who had walked through fire and decided to keep walking. Belle went back to the kitchen, called Morgan. I read everything. And we use it all, every email, every text, every receipt. We show the judge exactly who Victoria Ashford Harper is. Belle, it is going to be brutal. She will attack you, your mental health, your decision to leave phone. She will make you look unstable. Let her try. I have Dr. Cross. I have Claire. I have receipts for prenatal care. I have a job. I have stable housing. And I have the truth. Morgan was quiet then. Okay, we fight. We fight. Belle, one more thing. Dominic filed a counter petition against his mother, requesting a restraining order. Belle's breath caught. He did? Yes, he is testifying against her, with us. Why? You will have to ask him, but Belle, I think he means it this time. 2 weeks before the hearing, Belle woke at 2 in the morning with cramping. Not contractions, something else. A tightness that wrapped around her belly and squeezed. She lay still, counted, waited. The cramping intensified. She checked for bleeding. None. But the pain was sharp. Wrong. Belle called Dr. Hannah Cross. Hannah answered immediately. Talk to me. Cramping, low, consistent, no bleeding, but it hurts. How far apart? It is not stopping. Just one long cramp. I am sending an ambulance. Do not move. Hannah, I do not think I need... Belle, you are 34 weeks. Any cramping is worth checking. Do not argue. The ambulance arrived 16 minutes later. Lights but no siren. Small mercies. Claire appeared from her house in a bathrobe. I am coming with you. You do not have to. I know. I am coming anyway. At Cape Cod Hospital, they put Belle on monitors. Her blood pressure was elevated. The baby's heart rate was good but variable. The cramping continued. Dr. Cross arrived 30 minutes later. Checked everything, ordered an ultrasound. Irritable uterus, she said finally. Your body is stressed. Not labor, but close. We are admitting you overnight. Magnesium drip to calm things down. Steroid shots for Emma's lungs just in case. Just in case what? In case she decides to come early. Belle's vision blurred. Not again, please, not again. Hannah took her hand. This is not James. Emma is fine. Strong. This is your body saying slow down. So we slow down. They admitted her, put her in a room that smelled like antiseptic and old fear. Claire sat in the chair by the window, pulled out her knitting. You do not have to stay, Belle said. I know. Claire did not look up. After my daughter died, people kept saying I did not have to do things. Did not have to go to the funeral. Did not have to clean out her apartment. Did not have to keep living. They were wrong. I had to do all of it. You do not get to choose what you have to do. You just do it. Belle closed her eyes, felt tears slide down her temples. I am scared. Good. Fear keeps you sharp. It is the absence of fear that gets you killed. At 4 in the morning, Belle's phone buzzed. Morgan, heard you are in hospital. Sent someone to check on you. Do not be mad. Belle frowned. Who? The door opened. Dominic stood there. Snow in his hair, eyes red, wearing jeans and a coat she did not recognize. Hi, he said. Just that. Nothing else. Belle stared at him. What are you doing here? Morgan called. Said you were in the hospital. I drove. From Boston? Yes. That is 3 hours. I know. Claire stood. I'm going to get terrible coffee. You two talk or do not talk. Either way, I am not witnessing it. She left. Dominic stood by the door, did not approach. Can I come in? Belle nodded. He sat in the chair Claire had vacated, looked at the monitors, the IV line. Belle's face. Is Emma okay? Yes, my body is stressed. They are calming it down. Are you okay? I will be. They sat in silence. The monitors beeped. Somewhere a baby cried. I filed against my mother, Dominic said. Restraining order. She will not be allowed near you or Emma. Morgan told me. I also stepped down from Vertex, not temporarily, permanently. I am consulting now, part-time, from wherever I need to be. Belle's throat tightened. You did not have to do that. Yes, I did. Belle, I am not here to ask for forgiveness or to convince you of anything. I am here because you are in the hospital and I could not be anywhere else. Dominic, let me finish, please. He leaned forward, hands clasped between his knees. I have been going to therapy 3 times a week, Dr. Greaves. He is helping me understand why I ran after James died, why I could not sit in grief with you, why I treated our marriage like a project I could manage instead of a life I needed to live. Belle said nothing, and I realized something. I have spent my entire adult life trying to not be like my father. He left my mother for a quieter life. I thought if I was successful enough, ambitious enough, I would never abandon anyone. But I abandoned you anyway. Not physically, emotionally. I made you hold all the soft parts while I held the hard ones. I made you my infrastructure. Belle's eyes burned. That is a therapist word. Yes, he said, you are not my emotional assistant, you are my partner. And I have been treating you like someone whose job was to make my life easier while I did important things. But Belle, you are the important thing. You and Emma. That is it. Nothing else matters. You should have realized that before I left. I know, I am sorry. I am so fucking sorry. For missing the scan, for not crying with you when we lost James, for letting my mother control our lives, for kissing Sienna even though I did not know about the money. I still made the choice to go to those dinners, to laugh at her jokes, to let myself feel interesting in a way I thought I lost. Belle wiped her eyes. I do not know if I can trust you again. I know I am not asking you to. I am just asking you to let me prove I am different. Not with words, with time, with showing up. I rented a cottage in Provincetown. Not to pressure you, just to be close enough if you need me. For how long? As long as it takes. Or forever. Whichever comes first. Emma kicked, hard. Belle put her hand on her belly. Dominic's eyes followed the movement. Can I? Belle hesitated, then nodded. Dominic stood, moved to the bed, put his hand next to hers. Emma kicked again, right under his palm. Dominic made a sound, halfway between laugh and sob. She is strong. She is. Like her mother. They stayed like that, two hands on one belly, two broken people trying to remember how to be whole. I do not forgive you yet, Belle said quietly. I know, but I am not saying never. Dominic looked at her. What are you saying? I am saying show up. Keep showing up. We will see what that builds. I can do that. And Dominic, Emma does not meet Victoria ever. That is not negotiable. Agreed, I meant what I filed. She will not be in our lives. Claire knocked, came back in with 3 coffees. Terrible as promised. Also, the nurse said visitors can stay until 6 a.m. Then someone named Dr. Cross kicks everyone out. Dominic stood. I should go. You can stay, Belle said. Surprised herself. If you want, just to be here, not to fix anything. Dominic sat back down. Just to be here. Just to be here. Outside, snow fell. Inside, monitors beeped their steady rhythm. Emma moved. Safe. Growing. Waiting. And for the first time in months, Belle felt something other than fear. Not hope exactly, but not hopelessness either. Somewhere in between. Where most true things live. The sun came up slowly. Winter light through hospital windows. Dominic fell asleep in the chair. Claire knitted. Belle watched her daughter's heartbeat on the monitor. 140 beats per minute. Strong, steady, alive. The sound of survival. The sound of whatever came next. The morning of the hearing arrived with the kind of cold that made breathing hurt. Belle stood in front of the bathroom mirror at Morgan's apartment in Boston, 32 weeks pregnant now. 2 weeks of bed rest had stabilized everything. Dr. Cross had cleared her to travel for the hearing with strict instructions. Sit when possible. Stay hydrated. Leave if stress becomes physical. Morgan appeared in the doorway. Navy dress or gray? Which one says I'm a competent mother and not a flight risk? Both, but navy photographs better. Belle chose navy. Simple, high-necked, the kind of dress that said, I am here to tell the truth, not to perform. She braided her hair. No makeup except concealer for the shadows under her eyes. She looked tired because she was tired. Pregnancy and fear, and the weight of fighting your own family will do that. Ready? Morgan asked. No, but we are going in anyway. They drove to Suffolk County Family Court in Morgan's Volvo. Classical music played low. Neither of them spoke. Some moments required silence. The courthouse was all marble and wood, and the institutional smell of too many sad stories compressed into one building. People sat on benches outside courtrooms. Mothers holding crying toddlers. Men in suits checking phones. Lawyers with briefcases that cost more than most people's rent. Belle's hands shook. Morgan took one. Squeezed. You are going to be fine. We have everything. Sienna's testimony, Dr. Cross's records, character witnesses. Victoria has nothing except manipulation. She has money, she has connections. And we have the truth. In family court, that still matters. They entered courtroom 4C small, plain, a judge's bench, 2 tables, gallery seating for maybe 20 people. Victoria sat at the petitioner's table with her lawyer, a woman named Constance Bradford who wore pearls and a smile that could cut glass. Victoria was dressed in dove gray, hair perfect, face serene. She looked like someone who chaired charity boards and never raised her voice and always got her way. She did not look at Belle. Dominic sat in the gallery, behind Belle's table. Not with Victoria. He wore a suit but no tie. His face was thinner, eyes hollow. He looked like someone who had not slept well in weeks. Their eyes met. He nodded once. She nodded back. The bailiff called them to rise. Judge Angela Morrison entered, late 50s, black woman with silver-streaked hair and eyes that had seen every version of family dysfunction humans could invent. She sat, reviewed papers, looked up. This is a petition for emergency grandparent visitation rights filed by Victoria Ashford Harper. Respondent is Isabel Mitchell Harper, currently 32 weeks pregnant. I have reviewed the initial filings. Mrs. Bradford, you may present your case. Constance Bradford stood, smoothed her suit. Your Honor, this is a straightforward matter of child welfare. Mrs. Harper abandoned her marital home on February 14th while 6 months pregnant. She left no forwarding address. Did not inform her husband of her whereabouts. She is currently residing in a cottage in Provincetown that lacks adequate heating and modern amenities. She is working manual labor at a bookstore despite being in a high-risk pregnancy. My client, the paternal grandmother, seeks temporary visitation rights to ensure the child's welfare. Judge Morrison looked at Belle. Mrs. Harper, you left your home. Why? Belle stood. Morgan had coached her. Be honest. Be clear. Do not perform emotion. Just state facts. I discovered my husband was having an affair. There were photographs. 8 months of photographs. I left because staying felt unsafe. Unsafe how? Was there physical violence? No, emotional manipulation. His mother had orchestrated the relationship, paid the woman $400,000 to be seen with my husband, to make him look desirable before a major business announcement. I was in the way of optics. Victoria's face remained calm, but her lawyer's eyes flickered. Judge Morrison leaned forward. You are claiming Mrs. Ashford Harper paid someone to have an affair with her son? Not an affair exactly, a performance. We have the contract, the wire transfers, text messages, all of it. I will see that evidence. Mrs. Bradford, did you know about this alleged contract? Constance Bradford's smile tightened. We have heard these allegations. They are unsubstantiated, a desperate attempt to vilify a concerned grandmother. We will determine that. Continue. Constance called her first witness, a private investigator named Robert Chen. He presented photographs of the cottage in Provincetown, made it look condemned, testified about Belle working at the bookstore, lifting boxes, standing for hours. And in your professional opinion, is this environment suitable for a high-risk pregnancy? It raises concerns. The property appears neglected. The work is physically demanding. Morgan cross-examined. Mr. Chen, did you enter the property? No. Did you speak to Mrs. Harper's physician? No. Did you review any medical records? That was not my assignment. So your opinion about suitability is based on exterior photographs and assumptions, based on observations. Thank you. No further questions. Morgan called Dr. Hannah Cross. Hannah entered in professional clothes, but with the bearing of someone who had delivered babies at 3 in the morning and would not be intimidated by lawyers. She was sworn in. Dr. Cross, you are Mrs. Harper's obstetrician? Yes, I have been providing prenatal care since she arrived in Provincetown. And her pregnancy is high risk? She has history of loss. That creates anxiety. But medically, this pregnancy is progressing normally. She had one incident of uterine irritability. We treated it. She is stable. Is working at a bookstore dangerous? Not if she is mindful, no heavy lifting, regular breaks. Mrs. Harper has been compliant with all recommendations. And the cottage where she lived? I have been there. It is clean, heated, adequate. In your medical opinion, is Emma, the unborn child, at risk? No, Mrs. Harper is receiving excellent care. The baby is healthy. I see no welfare concerns. Victoria's lawyer declined to cross-examine. Morgan called Claire Donovan. Claire entered wearing a dress Belle had never seen. Simple, elegant, her silver hair was down. She looked like someone who had survived storms and would not be shaken by courtroom theatrics. Mrs. Donovan, how do you know Mrs. Harper? She is renting property near mine. We have become friends. What can you tell the court about her state of mind? She is scared, justifiably, but she is stable, competent. She attends all medical appointments. She eats properly. She has been building a life for herself and her daughter with care and intention. Do you have concerns about her parenting ability? None whatsoever. I was a hospice nurse for 30 years. I recognize mental instability. Mrs. Harper does not have it. She has appropriate fear response to an abusive situation. Objection, Constance Bradford said. Characterization. Sustained. Mrs. Donovan, please stick to observations. I observe, Claire said carefully, that Mrs. Harper left a situation that was causing her distress. That is not instability. That is wisdom. Constance Bradford stood for cross-examination. Mrs. Donovan, you mentioned you were a hospice nurse. Are you trained in psychiatric evaluation? No. So your opinion about Mrs. Harper's mental state is based on casual observation, not professional assessment. I am trained in human suffering. I know the difference between someone breaking and someone breaking free. Judge Morrison almost smiled. Thank you, Mrs. Donovan. You may step down. Then Morgan stood. Your Honor, we call Sienna Blake. The courtroom shifted. Even Judge Morrison looked interested. Sienna entered wearing a plain gray dress, no makeup, hair pulled back. She looked young, vulnerable. Nothing like the woman in the photographs. She was sworn in, sat, folded her hands. Morgan approached gently. Miss Blake, do you know Victoria Ashford Harper? Yes. How? She hired me, last May, to be seen publicly with Dominic Harper. Can you explain the arrangement? Sienna took a breath. My younger sister has cystic fibrosis. She needed a double lung transplant. Our insurance denied coverage. The cost was $450,000. I was modeling but could not make that much fast enough. Mrs. Ashford Harper approached me. She knew about my sister. She offered me a contract. $400,000 to attend public events with her son, to make it appear romantic, to create buzz before a business announcement. Did you sign the contract? Yes. Did Dominic Harper know about the contract? I thought he did. Mrs. Ashford Harper said he approved everything. I realized later that was a lie. He had no idea. Did you have romantic feelings for Dominic Harper? No, it was a job. A horrible job that I will regret for the rest of my life. But I did it to save my sister. Did Mrs. Ashford Harper know you were being coerced by circumstance? Yes, she specifically mentioned my sister. She said everyone wins. Vertex gets good publicity. Dominic looks interesting. I saved Natalie. Mrs. Harper gets what she wants. And what did Mrs. Ashford Harper want? Sienna looked directly at Victoria for the first time. Control. She said Belle was making Dominic soft, that he was missing meetings for family things, that investors do not fund domesticated men. She wanted him to look available, dangerous, worth betting on. Judge Morrison interrupted. Ms. Blake, are you saying Mrs. Ashford Harper explicitly stated she wanted to undermine her son's marriage? Yes, Your Honor. In her words, we need to remind him what power looks like. Belle is an anchor. We need to show him wings. The courtroom was silent. Constance Bradford stood. Your Honor, this is hearsay. Uncorroborated accusations from a woman who was paid to lie professionally. We have the contract, Morgan said. We have text messages, wire transfers. Everything Ms. Blake has testified to is documented. I will review the evidence. Ms. Blake, you may step down. Sienna left. She looked at Belle as she passed, mouthed the words sorry. Belle nodded.